Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Steelers Sanctuary podcast. I'm your host, Dave Rivero from SteelersSanctuary.com. And this is my co-host, David Coro. Dave, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Dave, the Steelers won 24-17. Is that the best? Was the fourth quarter the best quarter of football we've seen out of Matt Canada in the Matt
Yes,
Canada era? Just leave it at that. I mean, the
it
defense played
was.
well too.
It was. They looked all around looked good. Whether you want to, think about the O line or the play calling or the routes or the wide receivers getting open. The going down the middle was nice to see. It felt like they were attacking. That's the best word I could think of to say is it felt like they were attacking that defense, and it was nice to see. Especially with the O line. You see a lot of positional blocking with them, and I think that sometimes that had them get in their head a little bit. But now there was no, it was just a natural go at someone, go, you attack, and that was nice to see, and you could see it in the running game big time.
Yep. We had to trudge through three quarters of shit to get to that fourth quarter, but once it came, man, it was. I was just blown away by how well this team played in that quarter. I mean, Kenny was 7 for 7 with 138 yards passing, no turnovers in the entire game, let alone the fourth quarter. I mean, 138 yards passing is more than one of the game's four quarters he played. So,
Right.
um, geez, I don't know what flipped the switch for this team. Um, the defense too. I mean, they were getting kind of run on a lot, and they couldn't stop Puka Nakua, but they seemed to tighten all that up in the fourth quarter as well. Hopefully, this is a springboard to some better things.
Yeah. No. I think what you saw there was the adjustments were made and the adjustments worked. I mean, I think the whole way they went about this was they wanted to shut down Cooper Kupp, and that was what they were going to do, and they did. I think he had what only 8 targets. He only had like 20 something yards receiving.
2 receptions for
Um,
29 yards.
yeah, so they got that goal of shutting him down. He had some drops too, which helped, but
Yeah,
that their goal
a
of
little
doing
bit.
that was definitely what they set out to do. Now Puka Nakua went off, but you got to pick your poison with that. You're going to either give up more one or the other, and I think they figured out that Cup's a little more dangerous apparently. So it's more
Yeah, after
important to
yesterday, I
shut
don't know
him
about
down
that.
instead of Puka Nakua. Uh, and you can argue it, but it worked. I mean, they did shut him down. So
Dave Puka Nakua is just the latest in a long list of wide receivers having big games against the Steelers secondary.
yeah,
I brought this up once before. He went 7 for 146, maybe even more than that. And then we have, we brought this up before. Brandon Ayuk 8 for 129. Amari Cooper 7 for 90. Devontae Adams 13 for 172 and a couple TDs. Nico Collins 9 for 168 and two. This team, this team has to go get a corner, dude. They have to
yeah.
go get one.
It's pretty obvious they need to do something. I mean, if they honestly have aspirations to go far this year, they better do something because I'm looking at these ratings, these grades, right, and I'm seeing that Joey Porter Jr., a rookie, has got a 70 something grade for this game, and then your starting corners, your vets are down in the 40s in their grades, and you just can't have that. You can't have your two starting corners just absolutely getting decimated out there and giving up those kind of big yards to guys all the time. It's just you're not going to beat these really really good top teams that throw the ball with these guys with Wallace and Peterson. You're just not.
I don't
But it
want to
looks
beat
like
up.
they're starting to come around. This was the most that Joey Porter Jr. ever played, and it was good to see. Man, he did well. He did really well.
I don't want to dwell too much on the negative, but there was one point Puka Nakua ran a crossing route, and the person who was covering him, I swore, I'm like, is that Keanu Neal one on one with Puka Nakua? And no, it was Patrick Peterson, a good 6 to 7 steps behind him, struggling. And let's be honest, Puka Nakua is
Yeah,
not a blazing
no,
fast receiver.
I know what play you're talking about, and obviously Patrick Peterson's not as fast as he used to be. That was completely opposite of play. But I also thought that was just Sean McVay scheming too. That the play setup was really nice. It was a cross. where you get him to come across behind two other wide receivers. I think they were trips right, and he came across behind them, and Patrick Peterson had no chance, no chance. He's too slow, and that play that was designed for Patrick Peterson to fail. That's exactly what he did. And
that's a good way to put it, Dave.
Yeah,
that was designed.
It was designed for Patrick Peterson to fail, and that's exactly what he did. And yeah, wide open. It's Sean McVay's a hell of a coach. He's gonna draw up some plays. It's gonna put your guys at some disadvantages. There was a couple, like the one on I think it was Joey Porter and Patrick Peterson got mixed up in coverage. One guy ran a fly route, but the other cut over, and Joey Porter looked like he thought Pat P was going to cover him, but Pat P kept with the wide receiver running the fly route, and that guy cut over. It was like a 10 and cut in, and he was wide open. But and you're going to have that with Joey Porter Jr. He's still a rookie. He's still going to have, if it's his fault, I'm not sure whose fault it was, but you're going to still have that with rookies. But overall, I mean, he's looking great. Had one bad tackle. That's been their concern is the tackling with him.
I was going to bring that up. The tackling
but overall, though, I mean, I thought the kid did good. I mean,
like
gave up one reception, right? I mean, that's it.
Yep.
So
none of these corners are tackling. So don't give me the tackling excuse for not playing him.
And that's a good point. It ain't like you're absolutely right, Dave. It ain't like Patrick Peterson or Wallace is doing any better. I agree.
All right, let's back up before we get into the game. Pat Freiermuth put on the IR again.
Yeah.
This is just bad news, right? I'm pretty sure that's a minimum of 4 games he's got to miss, right? So, boy, they need Pat Freiermuth out there. That's a tough break. The kid just I heard some people maybe theorize that the Steelers tried to bring him back too soon and cost him this injury. I mean, we'll never know, but
or the player was telling him he's ready and he wasn't.
Yeah, of course that could be part of it too. Absolutely. I guess they didn't seem to miss him all that much because once the offense got going in the fourth quarter, they were rolling.
Well, let's be honest, they didn't utilize Muth a lot anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
Pat Freiermuth did not get utilized a lot this season in general by Matt Canada. I'm not going to go on that soapbox, but in general, they didn't utilize Muth a lot anyways. Maybe going forward when he comes back, they will, because I would love to see them go down the middle more like they did this game and utilize him, up the seam. That'd be amazing.
Dave, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to sit here and I'm going to give Matt Canada a lot of credit. Some of those play calls, especially in the fourth quarter, things we had never seen before. Like he had Hayward in motion, like a half motion, then cut straight back into the flat, and he was wide open. That's a great call. Another play where they ran all kinds of motion and action towards the right and ran left for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Where has this been?
That's why, we can talk about the fourth quarter or whatever, but in general, I saw a lot of things that I liked. And that was one of them. The cut route there with Connor Hayward was nice. I liked the trickery where they had Jalen line up like he was a tight end, and they had Najee out there too. How long have I been clamoring for them to have them both out there at the same time?
Yeah.
I've been asking for this forever. That play was a great play, because then they had Connor Hayward go in motion with Jalen Warren, and it had them eyeing them up more, and then he handed it off to Najee, and it was over.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but see, this is the stuff we've been wanting them to do, and I do wonder if Najee Harris and Mason Cole did go, hey man, this is stuff the other NFL teams are doing. This is some of the things we could do to really help. And, it looks like maybe he listened a little bit. All the slants to wide receivers down the middle.
Right? This is just...
Dude, I mean, look, when they go to that soft zone, that's what you do. They usually leave that middle part right there, right? You can kill them with those slants. And luckily, the Steelers started doing that. And, I mean, giving George Pickens that much room to work with, you're trying to... You're not helping your cause any. I'll put it that way.
That back shoulder throw is I made fun of it as it shouldn't be a staple of your offense, but it's money. It's like a screen pass. Every time they run it, they get a big play out of it. So I'm going to stop, criticizing them for it and just be happy when they do it. Deontay Johnson made a difference in this game. He made some big plays.
Oh,
He
Huge
made a
difference.
difference in the offense. They couldn't focus as much on Pickens, and it really showed yesterday.
Yeah. No, I mean, he makes such a big difference. His route running is so elite, and they have so much trouble with that they forced him to have to double him. And there you go, George Pickens. It opens it wide open for him. And again, we talked about this. Teams got to pick their poison now. And man, was it nice to see some of his catches to get first downs, or just like I said, opening it up for Pickens. I was almost expecting either Austin to maybe have a big game, maybe a big play,
Yeah, he's
but didn't
disappeared,
happen.
man.
I was also hoping maybe they would get Darnell Washington more involved in the passing, but it didn't happen either.
Only one target in the game.
Yeah, they didn't utilize him at all. But yeah, no, DJ was what this team has been hurting this team, and what they've been missing a lot is that second playmaker at the wide receiver position, and now they have it back. So
did we underestimate how much of the offense we were missing with Fryermuth and DJ out? I mean, I know we didn't even bring it up on the podcast. Like, they were missing two of their key pieces for quite a while.
yeah.
I mean, we should have taken that into a little bit of a consideration with this offense struggling. I mean,
we probably should have. The problem is when they are here, what's been happening for the last 3 years.
Well, we haven't had DJ since week 1. I know week 1 was a dud, but
I'm just saying, like, in general, we've had DJ and the team struggled to put up points. It's just that I think that a third year of it didn't matter what, if we think someone's Satan, we think he's Satan. It doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in Pittsburgh, man, like, as Steeler fans, dude, if we don't like you, we don't like you. And that poor guy, he's going to have to start averaging 45 points a game before everybody's just, forgives the last 3 years. But it is something you have to take into effect. I mean, that doesn't help when you're missing arguably your top wide receiver or top route runner, we'll say, and then your top tight end on top of that. So yeah, it hurts.
The running game felt like it was better than it actually was. I'm looking at the stats right now. Najee went 14 for 53, and Jalen Warren went 6 for 32. It just seemed like a better run game this time.
There were more chunks. Yeah. There were more chunks of 5 to 8 yards.
It's a good way to put it.
And that was different from what we've been saying. It's been Najee gets the ball, short, choppy steps, and then gets killed at the line of scrimmage. It wasn't that way. He was different too, Dave. Najee Harris was running the ball like Jalen Warren. He was running south to north. And I mean, my man was running with aggression. Mm-hmm. He was looking for someone to hit. He was talking mad shit getting up. I loved it. I was like, oh, man, now this is hard-nosed football. I mean, there was that. It might have been his first run play. It was the second one. And he got to the second level, and there was a corner, and it almost felt like he targeted the corner. It was almost like, no, I'm running at you, and I'm going to run you over. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeast. They were drawing the whole game. Yep.
I mean, he ran right at that guy, and it was like, I wonder if he could have tried to keep Juke and go around him, but
decided to go over him instead.
It seemed like on that first series, man, Najee wanted to set a tone. He hit that guy, and I could see on TV he was just talking mad shit as he got up. And I don't even know how he didn't get a penalty. They penalized Pickens and DJ, but didn't penalize Najee. And it was like, dude, Najee was talking mad shit.
That's a good point. We should talk about the penalties a little bit.
But yeah.
DJ's got to be smarter than that. I mean, you can't be taking that penalty. And the same thing with Pickens. The block, you can give him a little bit of a pass on the block. He should know better. It's a blind side. They're going to call it, but they got to get that shit under control. They got away with it this time, still won the game. That could cost them games going forward if they keep that stuff up. Yeah. And I know Tomlin gives his famous line, I'd rather say whoa than sick 'em. I get it, but you got to have your guys under control. You can't be doing that stuff.
It's funny. Chris Kennedy on TikTok said, first game, I had a smile on my face when the game clock hit 0.0.
Yeah. I mean, we were all.
Yeah, it was a good game, man. This was probably the best that they've looked overall with the offense for sure. But yeah, getting back to your point. Yeah, dude, I was actually more upset with Pickens than I was DJ. And the reason why, and I put this on Twitter, I said he's been trying to do that crackback block to
Yeah.
players and kept missing.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was getting mad because I'm thinking in my head, I know one of these days this kid's going to do that and it's going to hurt us. And sure enough, he
Yeah.
finally connected and drilled that guy. Well, he didn't drill him, but he hit him. And it was a
Yeah.
crack back block,
I mean, that was a
perfect
clear
definition
ball.
of a
Yeah.
crack back block. And he got penalized for it. And it was just like, dude, but what makes me more upset is that if I'm the defensive coordinator, right, or one of not defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator, or if I'm one of the offensive coaches, the wide receivers coach, if I'm freshman, and I see my wide receiver try this several times, I'm going to go to him and go, dude, don't do that. That's a crackback block. You're going to get penalized. But I doubt anybody said anything. And he's young. He's a young kid. And sure enough, he made that mistake and did it, and it cost him. The DJ one I wasn't upset much about because you could tell that him and Witherspoon know each other. So he was just kidding around with Witherspoon. It wasn't the only problem was he did it right in front of the ref.
Yeah.
And that's where you're kind of like, okay, DJ, we know him, he's a friend, and you guys are just goofing with each other. But the ref's right there. Like, you got to be careful. And these refs are ticky-tacky as shit nowadays, too. So you got to be really smart. But yeah, no, Najee, I was really shocked Najee didn't get. After they did that to Pickens and DJ, I was really shocked they didn't nail Harris for that. But dude, I don't know, man. In a way, I it's strange. Like, I like it. I love that kind of attack and that swag and that anger and just that smash mouth football, man. Like, you think about back in the day, dude. Think of the Steelers of the 70s and the videos and the trash
that was
talk.
the 70s, dude.
But
you get
what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
If you're going to be a hard-nosed running football team, man, I love seeing that swagger and going out there and like, I'm going to run you over. That's the kind of shit I want to see. And get up.
Najee definitely set the tone.
Yeah,
he definitely set the tone.
That's what I'm saying. And that was, you could tell that was Najee's purpose. And hey, you never know. Maybe that's what all them players were thinking. They were thinking, hey, we're all going to be like, dude, we're going to whoop your ass. And they're going to talk shit. It's just that you got to be smart about it. And
you got to be smart about it.
That's the only thing. But for overall, though, I just I knew that Pickens' damn crackback block was going to get him sooner or later, because you'd see him go to try it and he'd completely miss.
Yeah, he's missed a few. You're right.
You're like, oh, what are you doing, kid? But yeah, but I just I really like the way they play. They play with some aggression, man. I really love the tone they set. I really did.
Offensive line played really well. I mean, we didn't hear Dan Moore's name at all, which is good.
Yeah.
That means he didn't screw up at all. He played well. I thought Seumalo was probably his best game. Mason Cole, we didn't hear his name. I thought for sure he was going to be one of the ones we'd point to after
the grades on him were really weird. Like, Mason Cole had a great pass blocking grade, which was really good considering he's facing Aaron Donald. But he had a really bad run blocking grade. It was like, really? Like, it was just, I don't know. You'd see these guys and their grades fluctuated really bad. But overall, I thought the O-line did fine. I mean, you're dealing with Aaron Donald. That's not easy.
Yep.
So overall, though, I thought they did fine. But they said they schemed away from him. Like, Najee like explicitly said, "We are not running near that motherfucker." He literally said that. Yeah. Like, we are not going near that dude.
That's the way to do it, man. He's a game wrecker. He's a game wrecker. And if you try to take him on, you're going to lose. Period.
And I thought it was, you could tell on the flip side, you could tell that Sean McVay schemed that offense to completely eliminate TJ.
Yeah.
I saw it one time. They had 3 guys blocking him, and it was the same thing. They brought the tight end in motion to come block on the other side with the tackle and everything. And I forget who else they had set up there. I think it was a wide receiver too. They had 3 guys coming to make sure TJ did not apply pressure.
You watch the All-22 guy every week. It's the same thing. 3 guys. He has to fight through 3 or 2 or 3, 2 at the least to get to the quarterback. It's crazy that he still produces the way he does.
Yep.
Let's finish off the offense. Other than Pickens and Deontay, there wasn't much from the wide receivers. Allen Robinson had one good key first down, but short of that, I mean,
they brought Robinson in to be a blocking wide receiver. That whole like fourth quarter, you could tell he was out there to specifically be a blocking wide receiver. I think that he might be their best blocking wide receiver out of the group, probably.
It's not saying much, but you're
probably not close. No, but I mean, I'm just saying, out of the group, I'd probably say him and George Pickens is probably their top 2. 5'7", Austin is not going to be able to block too much. So, I mean, yeah.
Steelers caught a little break at the end with that spot. I mean, Kenny slipped. His
He
knee
did.
went down,
He
and that was
did.
short. And then they didn't have any
He did.
timeouts. That's crazy that they don't, they only, can go to the booth at the 2 minute warning and this and that. And I was thinking to myself, well, this is going to go to the 2 minute warning. Does that mean they can have a booth challenge? Because it did, the clock ran down, but I guess once that plays
Play happened
over, before,
so
yeah.
it was
I was
okay.
almost thinking to myself, maybe Tomlin should take a timeout so it doesn't go to 2 minute warning, but then that would have screwed things up too. So yeah, it ended up working out in the end for the Steelers. After that, they could just kneel down. Um,
In fact, it was.
geez,
I didn't know that. See, I didn't know the Rams had a timeout left. Or did I'm sorry,
they
I didn't know they didn't have any timeouts
they
left.
didn't have a
I
time. Yeah, I
was
didn't either.
I
I
had
didn't
I
either.
wasn't paying attention to that, and
Yeah,
so when it happened, I was just like, there ain't no way in hell he got that first down. There's no
yeah.
way. And I was just like, crap, they're gonna challenge it. So I'm yelling, hike the ball, hike the ball. I'm screaming at the TV, get on, and they're not doing it, and I'm freaking out in my living room. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you standing around? Get on the line, hike the ball. And that's when they said, hey, they can't challenge it. They're out of timeouts. And I was like, wait, what? So I'm staring at the TV to see where the timeouts are at on the TV. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then they said the rule of it's, if it was within 2 minutes, but it's not. And I was like, dude, this is insane. They're going to win the
Insane.
game because of this whole thing.
Caught a
I was
huge
like,
break.
wow, that's nuts.
That's my biggest pet peeve, Dave, is teams that just waste timeouts, and then have none at the end of the game and end of half. It's just you got those timeouts are so valuable in the close games. You
Yeah, they
can't
are.
you can't burn timeouts, and the Steelers do it a lot.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin, one last thing, he had a challenge and lost it again. I mean, this poor guy, he won one early in the season, but that was just like an aberration. This is like
This man struggles with challenges more than anybody I know. I've never seen a
it's
coach
not even
struggle
close.
so
I don't think
bad.
it's close. There's not a coach in the league that
That
struggles with challenges more than that.
that play was, I don't know if he didn't really have much time to react. Yeah, when you're at another other team's field, they're not going to give you time to really. They're not even
Yeah.
going to show a replay. Uh, and I think he just decided to take that chance later in the game. Might as well try it. Why not? And
Yeah, I don't fault him for it because it's worth a try. It's a big
yeah, I mean,
play. You got to
it
take
was
it back.
honestly just a hell of a catch by Puka Nakua. Like, I don't know how the hell he made it. It was a hell of a catch.
Yeah, it really was.
But that's where he burned Wallace, wasn't it? Is that the
Yeah,
one he
I mean,
burned Wallace and Minka
yeah.
came over?
Yep.
Okay,
That's
I
exactly
thought
what it
so.
was.
That was just a hell of a catch. I mean, there's no way to put it. Just a hell of a catch.
All right, let's flip over to the defenses we're talking about in the core and stuff. Leaky on run defense again.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we're at the third and fourth running backs for the Rams, and here's their numbers. Royce Freeman, 12 for 66. That's a 5.5 average.
Ooh, man.
And Darrell Henderson, 18 for 61. That's only 3.4. But I mean, they got us. It's almost not worth talking about anymore. I'm convinced now, Dave, that the Steelers don't care if you run the ball. They're just trying to cover up for those corners, and they're going to let you run, and they're going to try to play pass defense. I don't know.
Well,
how it's
I told you they were probably going to be worried more about the pass. I said
Yeah.
they're not going to worry about the run game. Now, mind you, if you become a sieve and let them start getting 8 yards to carry, yeah, that's an issue. But I had a feeling. I thought they would go more dime, like I said, but no, they actually stayed in nickel. They kept two linebackers out there more than I thought they would. And I mean, yes, the run game they struggled with, but in the end, they were able to contain Kupp, and they didn't get smoked. They didn't let the Rams put up a ton of points, which was good. But yeah, no, it boggles my mind. They continue to not give Brendan Fehoko a helmet to see what he can do. And
get the Rams game isn't exactly, they're not a running juggernaut like maybe the Ravens, but to have them on the sideline, we talked about this endlessly. And if you're getting gashed a little bit, put Fehoko in there, try to stop it. You have someone that you can put in there, but they just don't.
They have decided they want their D linemen that apply pressure. They want Leal,
first and
they
foremost.
want Keanu Benton, they want the Adams, they want Ogunjobi, and I'm fine with like Ogunjobi and Keanu Benton, obviously. But good Lord, man, like if you're getting that smashed up the middle, Mike, it was up the middle that they were getting killed. I mean, just running right up the middle, 8 yards, no problem. Guy's been sitting on his couch last week. Been sitting on his couch the whole season.
Yeah,
he got out there and 8 yards, no problem. Yeah, I don't. yeah, I wish they'd bring him in, give him a shot. I'm really, really hoping that we hear soon that Cam Hayward's back.
Yeah, they definitely need him.
They do.
Dave, do you know who the three leading tacklers were on Sunday for the Steelers?
I'm gonna guess Minka for sure was one of the top three. There's no doubt.
Yes, sir.
Next is KZ.
Yes.
Okay, so 2, 3. Um, After that, I'm gonna guess Holcomb.
Nope.
Damn, I was close to
You did good. Keanu O'Neal. Three safeties were the three top tacklers. Minka Fitzpatrick had 11 tackles, Dave.
I didn't think it was possible for all three to be top three. So I didn't pick it. I was sitting there, I was like, Keanu O'Neal, I remember being involved in a lot of plays. I was like, but it can't be all three, can it?
Yep.
Well, guess what? Yes,
this is not good. This is not good.
It's not. It's not good at all.
I'm going to give a hat tip to Alex Kozora. He this is his stat. Minka's on pace to have 147 tackles this year. You cannot have your superstar safety.
Well, did you notice that he was on the line a lot?
Yeah, because
lined up as a third linebacker a lot. He was playing the role. It just like hit me. He was playing the role Terrell Edmonds played last year, where he was like that third linebacker. Yeah. Did you notice that?
It's not good. I don't like it.
It's not good, but it worked for the most
until
part.
He gets hurt. He should be. Minka Fitzpatrick should be in center field picking passes off.
I agree.
Impacting the game that way. He should not be your leading tackler week after week after week. I mean, again, this is a big win.
Was this one of those they're going to zig, everybody zag?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just
I don't know, man. But
it's too much wear and tear.
He was on the line a lot, but he made a lot of plays. He did really well. He wanted to be that ball hawk up, absolutely. But
whatever you ask Minka to do, he does well.
So here's my question then: if they're doing that with him, are our linebackers struggling just like our linebackers last year? Is that the case?
I don't know. I thought they played really well last week. This week, not so much. I know Holcomb got hurt. He ended up coming back in.
Yeah, Holcomb wasn't exactly healthy. So I kind of give him a pass a little bit.
I just think they're looking for that hybrid safety linebacker guy, which was supposed to be Keanu O'Neal.
Yeah.
But instead, they're using Minka, and that scares me. He's going to get hurt one of these times. God forbid.
You got the stats up for tackling?
I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it myself because I'm curious because I don't know how many tackles that linebackers had, but it's definitely got my curiosity now that we're bringing it up.
My bad, Dave. I was looking at solo tackles. So Holcomb was second with 8.
Was he?
My bad. Let me take that back. Solo tackles.
Top 3, right?
You did. Actually, you did.
Nice.
My bad. Yeah.
I was just curious because that's a pretty good indication. If your middle linebackers don't lead the team in tackles, or at least top 3, that's not good. So at least Holcomb was in top 3. Is Elandon Roberts kind of slipping a little bit?
Well, I think here's why Elandon Roberts goes from
game.
Team to team. He's very limited. He's a run stuffer, and he can be a liability when teams start to try to single him out in coverage.
The pass. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Elandon Roberts is who he is. In games against the Ravens or Browns, he's going to be a big part of the defense. When playing other teams, you're not going to know. You hopefully won't notice him too much.
When I get a chance, I'm going to look at snaps because I'm kind of wondering if Quan Alexander got more snaps because he's a better cover linebacker than Elandon Roberts. I wonder if since the Rams, that was going to be their best attribute. Their
I don't know if he had more snaps, but he only had 2 tackles.
Which one?
Quan Alexander. Roberts had 3.
Okay.
3 solo. So.
Yeah, linebackers didn't have a great day.
Yeah, but then again, it is the Rams. They're in 11 a lot, so they're spreading you out a little bit.
Very true.
It's just I'm concerned about the only. I have a lot of concerns, but with what Minka's doing, I'm just wondering if he holds up, if he gets worn down. That really concerns me. He's 210 maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's my worry too, is that you got him involved, making that many tackles. Sooner or later he's gonna get hurt.
Probably not, but
so I'm hoping that was just the scheme for that game. Was they wanted to have him on the line more maybe something the Rams weren't expecting, throw them off a little bit. And maybe, with this next game, because I'm gonna tell you right now, this next game, I know we'll get into that later in the week, but they're gonna want him out there in center field a lot more.
You would think. But then
Yeah.
again, the Jags have Etienne, who's a really good running back too, so they're gonna need help in the run support. That's
right. But I mean, we're talking about, Kirk and Ridley. I mean, they've got about 2 or 3, maybe even 4 wide receivers, man, that can move. It's gonna be a tough matchup. But anyways, but yeah, no, I you could tell that they definitely schemed to have Minka on the line more and play that like middle linebacker role almost.
Do you have the PFF grades for Wallace and Peterson? Did you happen to see them? I didn't look it up. It can't be
Yeah,
good
they
though,
were
right?
in the 40s. Both
The 40s.
Wallace and Peterson were in the 40s, and Joey had like a 70s. He was in a 70s grade. Out of all the corners, he had the best grade. There's hands down. Even James Pierre out there had a better grade. I saw James Pierre in the I want to say 50s or 60s in his grade. But literally, your bottom of the barrel was our 2 starting corners.
I was going to bring that up. He got some burn in the fourth quarter. I don't know if he took Wallace's place, if Wallace got dinged, but Pierre was playing a little bit towards the end of that game. I don't know. I think at this point,
I don't think so. I think he struggled so bad they had enough.
Yeah.
I really do, and I don't blame him. Thank you. We've known for a while now. He's going to struggle against fast wide receivers, and he just wasn't cut out to try to cover those guys. There was no way.
Yeah.
Oh, how about the play that Atwell caught for a touchdown was just that was such a you want to talk about the epitome of the problem with Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace both down there with their guys in the end zone, and one of the guys ends up catching it for a touchdown. I mean, that was rough.
Stafford extended the play a little bit, so it was a little tougher, but still, you're right. It's not good enough.
Yeah, but watch the play. Atwell.
I know, yeah.
He made Wallace look really bad. Wallace it was almost like Wallace gave up on the play. Like he thought, oh, the play's over.
Yeah, because Stafford extended it a little bit. And
I mean, what is one of the things they teach corners? If you're following your guy, watch his eyes. If those eyes turn back, you got to turn back too and look for the ball. JPJ did it perfectly against the Ravens and got an interception.
Yeah.
So it kills me when I see Atwell stop his route, turn back, and Wallace just stops like, okay, the play must be over. And it's like, what are you doing, dude? It's annoying.
Let's hope Darius Rush isn't on the Desmond King.
He is.
6 weeks on inactive before we see him. Let's hope because they need him.
He's going to be our week's milk carton. He's missing on a milk carton somewhere because they're not. This is going to be a slow played thing with Darius Rush. They're not. I wouldn't even be surprised if this is their plan for next year. Then this is a we have him for the future kind of move they made. I don't know if we see this kid at all, unless there's an injury. If somebody gets hurt, or it has to. I could say maybe if Wallace keeps struggling, maybe he gets a helmet and actually gets to play. But with Tomlin, you know how it is. So I don't see it happening. I would be so excited to see this kid get a helmet and actually maybe get a shot. But I think it's going to be kind of like with Desmond King, where at least for 2 weeks this kid doesn't get a helmet.
Oh yeah, because he's at least with Rush they have an excuse. Like he's green. Right. He's right from.
It's the same thing. He's got to learn the system. He's got to learn the system. He's got to learn all the signals. He's got to learn.
He's been with the team a week.
He's got to learn all that. So I'm hoping in about 2-3 weeks we see him.
I don't think 2-3 weeks. I don't think 3 weeks is unreasonable to get up to speed. No. You're a corner. I mean, there's a lot of communication over there with, especially when they play zone and stuff. So that's a little bit of an issue. I don't know. I don't think 3 weeks is totally unreasonable, but we'll see. If you're right.
So I think that's what we're going to see. And then I hope they don't cut him. I hope there's not an injury that causes them to actually cut him instead.
They have to keep him on the roster for 3 weeks, I believe.
Okay. Well, that's the interesting thing about that. And I forgot about that. If they have to keep him on it for 3 weeks, then maybe week 2, we see him 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I don't know. They can keep him inactive
before this game.
He's definitely not playing
Man,
next
do you
week.
think he could be ready for the Jaguars game?
No, if Desmond King could be ready in 6 weeks, I don't think. I
Well,
don't know.
no, Desmond King got a helmet after week 3. They just didn't play him a lot.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I
But
don't. I don't know. I don't know
I
what to
mean,
expect.
and reason why I'm asking this, and I mean, like I said, I don't know. Maybe. But we're talking about a guy that runs 4.3. This is the kind of guy where if he's clicking in the system, right? He understands the system, the coverages, all the signal calls. You want him out there. You got to deal with Ridley, Kirk, all those guys, man. They are fast. I would want that guy out there if he knows what he's doing. I would definitely not mind seeing him out there. Can he do any worse than Levi Walsh or
No,
Patrick
the answer is
Pierce?
no.
The
The
answer
answer is
is no.
no. The answer is no. You
So
can't get any worse than these two corners. Like I don't want to
I,
keep belaboring this.
and I
They got
want
to
to
go
be
out and get
realistic.
somebody, Dave.
I
They
want to
got to
be
go out and get
realistic. I really do. But my gosh, dude, if they could get lucky and that kid clicks and
Yeah,
they could have him for the Jaguars game, that'd be amazing. It
I
would.
think you're. I think you're right. This is a guy for next year. This is the guy they got planned for next
That's
year.
my worry. My
Yeah,
worry is it's a guy for next year. They want to
I
have
mean,
their 3 aliens of Trice, JPJ,
yeah,
and Darius Rush.
which is fine.
And on paper,
But
it sounds amazing if they're healthy and it clicks. But I would kind of like to see him out there for the Jaguars game. That's just me.
that's fine for next year.
If
But
he's ready, but I think
they're
that's
four
too
and
soon.
two. They're 4-2. They're in the playoff thing. They need to.
Oh,
They need players now. Um,
I lost my phone.
Again today, Kevin Byard got traded. A really good safety gets traded to the Eagles, of course, and Steelers again. What are we doing? You need a safety. J.C. Jackson went to the Patriots for nothing, dude. They didn't give up anything for him. He's covering Stephon Diggs yesterday, like blanketing him.
Yeah, must be
I'm
nice.
like, what are we doing? And
Well,
I
look,
know,
I think Andy Weil is going to be pounding the table here pretty soon because coming from the Eagles, I'm going to guess that they're going to be more aggressive than what we've seen from the Steelers usually. I'm waiting for it. I mean, the way Omar Khan was this offseason, we never saw nothing like this. So I'm expecting it, and I feel like it's just going to be out of nowhere. It's just going to happen. I don't
yeah,
think we're going to. I don't even think we're going to hear rumors. I think he's just going to do something and add something to help. It'll be something we don't see coming. Because I see people clamoring for is it the guy from Green Bay? I can't as Alexander.
Jair Alexander. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh my
Alexander.
God.
I saw that. That'd be great.
That'd be phenomenal.
but
He's a great cornerback.
but the thing about it is that's going to cost a price.
Yep. You know my feeling
I
on it,
don't.
Dave.
What's that?
Just do it. You know my feeling on it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just
See,
do it.
I'm a little more hesitant than you are. I'm a little hesitant for that much of a price. I like
Usually I'm not.
I like what you just mentioned, where they hardly give up anything and they get these guys.
Well,
If
they
they
wouldn't
can
have to
find
give
a
out.
guy, look, if they can find a corner that is towards the end of his contract, it's a rental, if you will.
Yeah.
And they won't have to give up nothing more than a 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
Make the move. Make the move. I think it's no brainer. But I don't know. I don't. I'm hoping.
What about
I think it will happen, but I don't know. We'll see.
what about getting Terrell Edmonds back? Eagles have just got themselves a new safety.
Well, they traded him to the Titans.
Did Edmonds go to the Titans?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't hear
they
that.
sent a 6th, a 7th, and Edmonds to the
Oh, I
Titans.
didn't hear that. Shit.
Yeah, we're facing Edmonds now.
Oh, wow. All right. I didn't hear that.
I couldn't believe it either.
Oh, well,
I was
that.
like, they said I can't remember who it was. They said we avoided Barrett facing Bard, but now we're gonna have to play Edmonds.
Yeah, I'd rather face Edmonds than Bard.
Oh yeah. I was like, well, we know who to target then.
All right, that's interesting.
But yeah, so I don't. I hope it happens. I hope they do go get somebody, because they got to do something. Wallace and Patrick Pierce, you can't just keep marching them out there. If you have aspirations to go deep into the playoffs,
just gonna say that. If you want to be a playoff team, you can't.
There's no way.
Back to the game, TJ Watt, dude. Even though he didn't get a sack in this game, the interception was just beautiful. And the guy just amazes us every week.
I said it on Twitter. I said they have effectively eliminated TJ Watt, just like the Texans did. I'm interested to see if the Steelers try to find a creative way to get him more involved in some other way, to have some kind of impact. And sure as shit, they did. They decided to have him drop back into coverage,
Yep.
and Stafford didn't see it coming, and boom, right there, man. Is very it kind of reminded me of James Harrison in the Super Bowl where he faked the rush and dropped back into coverage. It was almost the same kind of thing. It was just a nice catch by TJ, an edge rusher. I mean, coming across like that, making that catch, tucking the ball in and going, man. It was great. Loved how when they went to tackle him, he covered two hands and just made sure he protected the ball. Just so smart. Just such a smart football player.
Yeah, he came off his guy, dude, and went and jumped the route basically like a freaking safety would or a corner. He just never ceases to amaze me.
No,
Highsmith was great in this game too. A lot of pressures. He was eating that left tackle alive. He
was, man. I mean, he was getting past him and almost nailing Stafford a ton.
Yeah. He's going to lead the league in pressures, right?
He had in the game.
He's got to lead the league now. He's had so many.
He might.
He's been playing. He hasn't gotten the sack numbers, but he's been playing really well. He's been playing.
He might not have the sacks, but dude, he's making an impact.
He's playing better than last year. He's better than last year.
He's got more pressures than last year. I can tell you that at least.
Yep. He's been more
constantly
impactful.
Getting after the quarterback and applying pressure.
Yep.
He
definitely been more
impactful. Moving around that pocket a ton.
Yeah. See, and this is my point when I went on that rant in week 1. If the Steelers get a lead, that defense is dangerous because they're pinning their ears back and they're coming after you.
You're right.
That's what that defense is designed. And it's just, you could see it. Stafford couldn't do anything.
But per Matt Canada, they're not set up for that.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hate to say it. That was promising. I don't want to get too wrapped up into it. I've been down this road before where I think, they're turning the corner and they don't. But when you take a deep look at that offense and what they did some different things. They tried some different things.
Yeah.
Too much talent on this team to be struggling like this.
I liked what I saw. I saw a lot more movement with the tight ends and with the wide receiver. I saw a lot of things. I saw a lot more attacking. It seemed like they weren't confused. There wasn't any more thinking out there. It was just go. And that's huge because that's the issue with this team. And I was really happy to see it. I'm encouraged too. I really am. I think that because DJ coming back, if they are listening to the players going, hey, we're seeing some things. Can we try this? If Matt Canada is actually going to be open to this a little bit, that's huge. That could really be a springboard for them.
You think that was really the reason that they tried the different things was the Najee Harris? I guess it's as good an explanation as any because we haven't seen it all season. So
if he is indeed looked at as one of the leaders of the team, Dave, then yes. I think if Najee Harris is considered, he's not officially one of the captains this season, but if he's looked at as a leader of that team and there's a lot of respect for him, then yes, I think they will listen. I think that here's the thing. If they tell them, hey, on this film, we saw this, this, and this, and then they show Matt Canada this, and then he looks and, the light bulb finally goes off, 7 games later, then, hey, they gave it a shot, and look, they put up 24 points. Is this the most points they've scored this? Yeah, it is, isn't it? They scored 23 against the Raiders.
Right? Yep.
They scored 23 against the Raiders.
They scored 26 against the Browns, right?
Oh, that's right. Yep. They did, didn't it? Well, half of that was the defense.
Yes, it was.
I'm saying where it was legit.
Well, one touchdown was pretty much gift wrapped by TJ Watt, too. He got them the ball at the 8-yard line.
That's true.
But still, hey, listen, I don't think you can have a complaint. I mean, it was 3/4 of some pretty bad football on offense, but you could see things happening. They just weren't clicking. DJ had a nice run. Well, that was second quarter, right? Run after catch.
Yeah.
Things were happening, but it just wasn't, they weren't putting it all together. The fourth quarter, they put it all together, and it was. So now looking forward to, if they beat the Jaguars, they're in great shape, man.
They are.
Because then you get the Titans and Packers back to back before you have to play the Browns.
To get 3 home games in a row, I was like, wow, that's a lot of home. 3.
Yeah, it is 3 home games. They gotta go 3-0 here. They have to go 3-0.
3-0.
They have to.
Well, see, the thing about it is originally before the Rams had injuries and all this, all their issues, I had them losing to them and the Jags and beating Green Bay and the Titans.
Yeah.
But now that they beat the Rams, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm there yet saying they beat the Jags. I'm not sure I'm there yet.
I'm not 100% convinced they will beat the Jags, but if they do, They
I
can
don't
stop
think
talking
they.
about the North.
I think if they go 2-1, they'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll still be okay.
They're
But if you
what
want to
fifth?
win the
They're
North,
fifth in the AFC right now as we speak,
mhm,
right?
yep,
Um, so I think they can afford in this stretch of home games to lose one. I think if they lose one and win the next two after that, I think that they'll be all right.
yeah, a loss isn't catastrophic, but
No,
if you've got eyes on the division, then you
yeah,
got to run the table here because it's like you said, it's 3 home games in a row. It's not the great. The Jaguars are obviously pretty good, but the other two teams are terrible. So if you can just squeak out this Jaguars game, you'll 7-2 in a great shape going into Cleveland. They're 2-0 against the AFC North as it is.
yeah, and that's the thing. They've got a good record in the conference and in the
Yeah,
division, so that's another thing that's good too. I tell you what, them damn Browns somehow
we
beating the
should talk about that.
49ers
The Ravens and
and then
Browns both
getting
win.
lucky in this Colts
Yeah,
game with some bullshit call too.
yeah.
I uh I just luck, man. The luck.
This
I
division is
was
going to be a dogfight all
I was
season.
hoping that with when the Bengals are struggling because Burrow is not right,
Yeah,
and then the Browns with Watson, which is also a mess. I was hoping that would kind of be their downhill swing after losing Chubb too, but
yeah.
they got lucky and they beat the 49ers and now they beat the Colts when that shouldn't happen. Dude, and then the Ravens eviscerating the
Yeah, the
Lions like
Lions
they
was
did. That
crazy.
was Jesus. I was
I
sitting there,
told
I'm
you,
like,
Dave.
what is going on? The Lions can't stop them.
The Lions weren't ready. That
No,
team's not ready to go come and play AFC
the
North ball.
Ravens passing
No.
game, that looked completely different from when they faced us.
Yeah.
Completely different. They were making catches for one thing. That was helping them. But whew, Lamar looked good, man. I was like, man, I'm glad we didn't face this the way they're playing in this game because man, that'd have been rough.
See, it doesn't seem to matter how they play these teams when AFC North teams play each other. It's just a rock fight. It turns into just
It is.
a
It's an
disaster.
all-out fight,
Yeah,
all-out
and
war, and it doesn't. You
you
take
rarely see
stats,
blowouts.
records, throw it out the fucking window,
Yep,
dude. It don't matter.
yep.
Yeah,
It's
but I mean
just
that's kind of cool. Like I'm glad the AFC North football is like that, where
yeah, I am
it
too.
don't matter. Records don't
Yeah,
matter. None of this shit matters, man. It don't matter who's out of the game. Like
yeah.
it's going to be an all-out fight. That's what makes our division, like I feel like, is the toughest division in the NFL
It's
because
looking
no
like it,
game
right?
is slam dunk.
Yeah,
There's no
it's
slam
looking like
dunk
it.
game. So
No team under
that's what
500,
makes our
right?
division fun to watch. What's that?
No team under 500, right? The Bengals are 3 and
No,
3, and everyone else
no.
has got a winning record. So yeah, it's going to be a dogfight all season. That's why they really need to win. Like you can't lose, you can't drop one into the Titans or Packers. You can't
No.
drop one of those games. And that's I said this on Twitter today. This has all the feelings of a Mike Tomlin special.
Uh-oh.
They're gonna bumble their way to a playoff spot and then break our hearts in the wild
No,
card round and get smashed by Kansas City or Buffalo or who
people are
knows.
starting to predict 11-6 is going to be their record.
Yeah, it sounds about right about now. You look at the schedule; it's so easy. It's such an
They
easy
should.
schedule.
Effectively, you'd think that they should be able to go 11-6, but I, as of right now, I don't feel good about the Jaguars game. But the Titans, I think, are actively now tanking. They're trading away players.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
they're
Yep.
not even playing Henry. They're not even playing. But Speth Spears kid got the ball more than he did the other day.
They're trying to trade Henry too.
I
Seen a
can
lot
see
of
it.
that. I've
I
seen a
hope it
lot of them
happens.
rumors.
Like, please do it this week, please.
Yeah.
And then I just don't. I don't. That's just a team I think that's going to go ahead and tank and good. And
Yeah.
then the Packers, did they lose to Denver the other day? Yesterday?
I believe they did.
Yeah, that's right. Jordan Love threw an interception to end the game.
Yep. Yep.
So
Packers
they're
stink.
another
They're going
team
to be
that's not.
selling off too.
They're not that great either. So these are two games after the Jaguars. Like the Steelers should win. If we beat the Jaguars, I'm going to be pretty hyped.
Yeah, they're gonna.
That's a
That's
huge
what I
game.
mean. That if they win that game, they're really in good shape.
Yeah.
Because then after those two games, they have the Browns and Bengals back to back. That'll be tough. But then they get this. Then they get a 3-game stretch where they get the Cardinals, Patriots, and Colts. It's like they're gonna just stumble their way into 9-8 at the worst.
I don't want to say stumble. I
Dave,
they're
when you
looking
beat the
better.
Ravens the way they beat the Ravens, when they beat the
Well, yeah,
The
I know.
Raiders,
It's
they're
just that
stumbling.
I feel like they did find something. I feel like they're gonna. I think that they found something here and they're gonna run with it. And I think you're gonna see them against it's bad teams actually do well. I don't
I
think we're
hope
gonna
so.
keep.
I
I
hope
think we're
so.
gonna be done seeing the Raiders type games where they're like getting really freaking lucky. I think we're gonna
Yeah.
get away with that a little bit now, get away from it, and they'll actually be legit putting up 20 something points. That'd be nice. If they're facing bad teams, I think you'll see them put up 20 something points more often.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
We might see it. I feel good about where they're at right now. I really do.
This can't do anything but help their confidence at the playing the way
Oh,
they played
huge.
in this fourth quarter. So they're going into the Jaguars game with the right mindset. I don't think I have to do a deeper dive into the Jaguars. I don't think the defense is all that great. They've got some good players on that defense, but I don't think
I
it's
think
like
it's mostly a power offense of minded team. Like it's their
yeah.
offense that they're gonna put up points. It's like one of those Big 12 teams. All offense, no defense.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. I just when you think of that Jaguars defense from like 18 when they beat us for 42
yeah,
whatever.
that's a whole different yeah.
But I'm saying that's the Jaguars defense I remember. Now I don't think they got that kind of defense. So yeah, I think it's going to be one of these really offensive, not juggernaut. I don't want to go there. I'm not trying to give them that kind of thing, but they're a dangerous team
Yeah.
through the air. But yeah,
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
I texted you after. He was different. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Look,
he was different. I'm
I
not gonna
don't
bring.
know.
I'm not gonna say
Yeah. Tomlin. I think he snorted some Epsom salts before he came out to that press conference. I'm telling you, I think he did. He was pretty fired up when he came out there, and I don't know if he was just excited on the win or
talk
how.
about not blinking, dude. He didn't blink the whole press conference. He wants to talk about the Steelers not blinking. Yeah, my man was.
And he was bringing up that reference, cut your eyelids off.
Yeah, he was just. Don't blink. I found it so strange,
dude. He was amped. And look, how about when that one of the media guys asked about the offense struggling? He goes, I'm not going to get into that negative. I was like, oh man, like he could tell he was ready to rumble on that kind of stuff. He had no time for anybody to say anything negative about that offense after they put up 24 points. My man wasn't having.
That was a football coach that was at the lowest point when it was 3-3 and then 9-3 and they were on their way to losing the Rams. That was he knew if they lose the game like 14-3, 16-3, he would never ever hit. They needed to turn that around because
they wouldn't make it out of LA.
Right. We were all writing their obituaries. Like we were the claws were out. Everyone was ready to kill them.
Yeah.
Including me.
Yeah, they were
including me.
Yeah, dude. They there was no way they could lose that game 14-3 again.
He saw hell and he climbed out of it just in time. And you could tell he was relieved.
The movie Escape from LA.
Yeah. He was relieved.
There's just no way. Whew. They got dude. I give them credit. They figured it out and they got out of it and put up 24 points in LA against the Rams. I mean,
this is the best we felt about this team.
Yeah.
Since last season, easily, when they went on a little roll for sure.
Yeah.
That I don't think, and again, that's the benefit of having Mike Tomlin as your head coach because a lot of teams spiral off the road and never come back.
His greatest attribute is he does not give up.
Yeah.
He doesn't fold. No tanking. There's nothing like that. This guy's all in. Doesn't matter the record. He's not going to give up. And I give him credit.
Yep. He's the greatest leader as a head coach I think there's ever been. He might not be the
that's some praise from you. The greatest leader of a team there has ever been.
Because he's got deficiencies and this team has deficiencies. They don't scheme up. They don't outthink you by any means. And they always win.
Yes. When you talk about scheming and they just call plays, they're not one of these big time teams nowadays that's in the know, if you will. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's no better coach to have because
he just wills them to victory.
He wills them, motivates these kids. They love playing for him. And that's what it is. I mean, look at the way they acted. They came in there angry, ready to roll some heads. and
Now,
that was
just
awesome to
imagine
see.
if he wasn't so stubborn and hired some competent coordinators to go along with that.
Yeah, and I think that the
They'd be a
problem that
juggernaut.
the thing is, Dave, to be who he is, he's gonna have that ego. You can't
True.
be what he is and not
True.
have that ego. Think about all the greats. Think about all the greats, right? The
Yeah.
Belichick's, if you will. That's debatable with all the cheating, but you know
I like
that.
it. I
Think
like
about
it.
him. Think about all the greats, right? I'm trying to think of some different Super Bowl coaches to bring up. Think of the egos they had.
Yeah.
Pretty big, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Jimmy Johnson, right? 3 Super Bowls. I'm trying to think of other multi Super Bowl coaches besides Belichick and them. But
Yeah.
just in general, these guys had huge egos,
Oh,
big
absolutely. I
egos.
mean, Jimmy Johnson ended
And
up leaving the Cowboys because he didn't want to share the spotlight with
correct.
Jerry Jones, right?
Him and Jerry Jones were not. You're right. So that's just you're good. Those guys are going to have big egos. That's
I know,
just
but his ego could be like so much bigger if he would just get an offensive coordinator who knew what the hell they were doing,
yeah,
right? And just
yeah.
you put his leadership and will with a semi-competent play caller. The sky's the freaking limit, dude. It's just
And that's the thing. It really you're really right. If they just go get a legit offensive coordinator, and I'm sorry if they go get a legit defensive coordinator too, if they go get both
yeah, both is
with
like
him,
a dream. Just get one. Just get the offensive guy. You're not an
one.
offensive
Oh yeah,
coach.
absolutely. I completely
Just get the
agree. If
offensive
you
guy.
because basically Mike Tomlin is the defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Go
and
get yourself a
I can
legit
live with it.
offensive coordinator, dude, and they're going to do big things. I agree. But will they do it? We'll see.
Will they
But
do it? That's the
but
million dollar question.
but I think this is probably the most positive you and I have been about this team together at the same time
Yes.
in
Yes.
since last year. Well, I'll tell you what, I was very positive after the preseason. I
Yeah, I
I
wasn't
had
so
them going
much.
12-5. I was, brainwashed.
Well, Dave, you're not going
I
to be
was
that far
very
off.
positive.
You're not going to be that
Um,
far off. They're not going to be that far off from 12-5. I'm telling you.
yeah, I tend to think you're right. We'll
11
see,
and
but
6, 10 and
I'll take
7.
11-6. That's better than
Yeah,
last year.
10 and
Uh,
7, something like that.
so, but what I saw in that offense, it definitely gave me more to believe in with this team going forward.
Let's hope Matt Canada can expand on this, do it for 2 quarters next week, and then 3 quarters the week after that, and God
Yep.
knows you'll be rolling.
And Kenny, I mean, on that last
Yeah,
drive, Kenny
yeah.
went
We didn't even talk
seven for
about Kenny
seven
Pickett.
for what was it?
Yep,
He had
138.
118 QB rating on that drive.
Yeah, he was excellent in the fourth quarter.
Dude, man, if you can, I think he had a 91.6 overall rating that game. Dude, if you can be that guy for 3 quarters, can you give me
Yeah,
that 3 quarters, Kenny? I'll take that guy.
he's got to be more consistent.
Yeah,
He's got to be more consistent,
right,
and we need more of the fourth quarter Kenny. Man, he's getting a reputation of being a fourth quarter guy, which is
right.
fine, which is great. Well, give me the third quarter too, buddy, and then
Absolutely.
we'll be on our
If
way.
you can just give us more than 1 quarter, dude, you do that, you'll be loved forever in Pittsburgh.
If they beat Jacksonville, they're gonna suck me back in. If they beat
Yeah,
Jacksonville, they're gonna suck me
if
back
they
in.
beat Jacksonville, I'm gonna be pretty hyped, dude. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it's gonna be tough not to be hyped, right?
Well, here's my thing. You as long as there's no injuries in practice, they're now minus Muth and Cam Hayward. They're pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Uh, you got your top wide receiver back, which is huge for the offense. It's at home, right? That stadium's going to be going absolutely bonkers. All your defensive players, the most important ones minus Cam, are there.
Yep.
It's all in their favor, dude. Like they just got to go out there and do it. Have a good game plan, and we'll see what happens.
A lot of momentum coming out of this game. Yep, it's all there for them.
Yeah,
it's all there for them. All right, that's all I got. Unless you got anything else, we can wrap this up.
Nope, that's all I got.
All right, you can follow me. You can follow me on X at SteelersSank16. Check out my blog at SteelersSanctuary.com. I put a new article out every Wednesday. Subscribe to the show, guys. Let's keep this momentum going. Speaking of momentum, that helps us out a great deal. Dave, give us your stuff and let's get out of here.
Yep. You can find me on X at DMC3SSP. I'm on TikTok. I'm doing TikTok live as we speak at Steelers Sanctuary Podcast or at Still Sank Pod. Also, don't forget that for the Pirates podcast I have the sportsbook website at signupexpert.com/nothingness.
All right. And until next time, thank you for listening to the Steelers Sanctuary podcast.